News Report. We are starting with the day's urgent and important news.
Bosnia is quietly rearming. Discover how a small defense industry is becoming Europe's hidden supplier. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned Canada of possible new tariffs. Trilateral peace talks between Russia, the United States, and Ukraine took place in Abu Dhabi, where various issues were raised and discussed.
When there is a conflict in Bosnia and Herzegovina, it very quickly becomes a widespread military conflict, and this pulls Serbia and Croatia into conflict within Bosnia's borders.
With Serbia and Croatia updating their arms systems, some are questioning if Bosnia could once again be a bargaining chip for war. It's believed binding Bosnia to NATO could secure the country and make the region stable.
We could see some conflicts coming from the entity of Republic of Srpska, which will use any chance it gets to try to split Bosnia and claim its own independence. That would be catastrophic for all three ethnic communities within Bosnia and Herzegovina, because NATO cannot afford to have a conflict going on.
Sarajevo was militarily unprepared when Bosnian Serbs attacked the city from these hills 2 decades ago. Since the war, Bosnia's arms industry has been growing. Defence equipment is sold to more than 60 countries, including the US. Yet NATO's increased arms stock has done little to speed up membership talks. Bosnia's path to the EU is also slow, and a fragile economy is causing the young generation to leave. Yet tensions remain between ethnic groups, and concerns over who will defend the country persist.
If such a situation continues for next years, let alone decades, then I don't think that there would be anyone to wage a war for anybody against anybody.
Arms experts and politicians play down an arms race, but most people we've spoken to agree that it wouldn't take much to ignite this region. And given Bosnia's ethnic diversity, a repeat of the 90s could see Bosnia pay the highest price. Sally Ihan, TRT World.
Has again threatened Canada with massive tariff hikes. Officially, this aims to force Canada to abandon a trade deal with China.
If Governor Carney thinks he's going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the United States, he's sorely mistaken.
The use of governor instead of prime minister is deliberate, a reference to a repeated threat from Trump to take over Canada. Tensions have been soaring between President Trump and Mark Carney, and they've significantly intensified since the World Economic Forum just held in Davos, where the Canadian Prime Minister made a landmark speech criticizing superpowers who tried to impose their policies on others. Donald Trump reacted in his own Davos address.
I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that.
To which the Canadian leader responded,
But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
Canadians and observers worldwide have been watching these tensions develop, wondering whether flattery or firmness are more effective when dealing with Donald Trump.
The historian in me says in the long run, appeasing folks who act in bellicose ways like this and react based on threats and have no kind of like long-term strategy, that generally is bad for the entire global environment.
Not all Canadians agree with Mark Carney. Residents in Alberta have issued a petition calling for a referendum on their province leaving Canada. The Premier of Alberta is close to Donald Trump, and local authorities have said the referendum could take place. Observers say the independence process is unlikely to pass.
Ukrainian and Russian negotiators met in Abu Dhabi on Friday to tackle the vital issue of territory, but the talks showed no sign of a compromise. The meeting included Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Rustem Umerov, as well as U.S. President Donald Trump's special Ukraine envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Umerov said the talks involved parameters for ending the war and, quote, further logic of the negotiation process. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the territorial dispute was a central issue for the talks, but that it was too early to draw conclusions from Friday's meeting. Kyiv is under mounting U.S. pressure to reach a peace deal in the war, which was triggered by Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022. Friday's talks unfolded amid intensified Russian strikes on Ukraine's energy system that have cut power and heating to major cities, including Kyiv, as temperatures dip well below freezing. Moscow is demanding that Ukraine cede its entire eastern industrial area of Donbas before it will stop fighting. The negotiations, which come a day after Zelensky met with Trump in Davos, are expected to continue on Saturday morning, according to Zelensky's office. Zelensky said on Friday that a deal on U.S. security guarantees for Ukraine was ready and that he was only waiting on Trump for a specific date and place to sign it.